Hello, so my name's Cassandra. So the crime I chose for this assignment is violent crimes. Specifically, I decided to focus on intimate violence. So a violent crime is a crime that involves force or the threat of force against another person, causing them harm or suffering. So specifically, intimate violence is a crime where someone is in close and intimate contact with the victim and they cause that person harm or suffering, using or threatening force against that person. So the example that I chose for this assignment is child abuse. So child abuse is any physical or emotional trauma to a child for which there's no reasonable explanation that can be found. It's not parenting decisions, it's not the culture, it's anything that goes above and beyond to really hurt that child. So an example would be if you aren't providing food for that child, and it's not because you don't have money, and it's not because you're between paychecks and that you're trying, it's because you're trying to make sure that child suffers and that child experiences that level of pain. Things like not taking them to the doctor, if they need medical care and you say nope, that could be considered child abuse. So anything that would not, be fit parent, anything that puts that child in danger, puts that child in risk. There's just an act of causing harm to that child. So did a bit of a wider search for statistics, try to find something specific of which cases get charges pressed against the parents, but also just like how many cases in general are there of child abuse. So the National Children's Alliance stated from their search in 2022 that there is 558,899 children that were the victims of abuse and neglect in the United States. I also found statistics sharing that the child abuse report is made every 10 seconds, which means they're also saying that 1 in 4 children experience child abuse or neglect in their lifetime. They're saying that in the United States in 2022 that 1,990 children died from child abuse. So I'm guessing those cases would have turned into criminal cases, a good majority of that. So 74.3% of victims of child abuse were neglected. 17% experienced physical abuse. So I'm guessing a majority of that 17% would translate into charges. And then 10.6% was sexual abuse, which would translate into charges, which is quite unfortunate. But that is the example that I chose about crime, and the type of crime, and the example of crime for this project.